Hello and welcome to this week's Modern Toyfare News, the weekly show that talks about toys. With me today is not Jarmar_Games, instead it is Rob from the Reality Check Wrestling podcast, and he's also a Twitch streamer, Legionkage. How are you this week, Rob?
Other than events that I told you about off camera, I'm doing fantastic. Thank you.
Oh yes, the tragic Hive event of 2020.
Yep.
At least it wasn't
2020
Murder
just
Hornets.
gets better.
At least it wasn't Murder Hornets.
This is true. This is very true.
Gotta look at the bright side, right?
Yep.
So if you're new to the show, the way it works is we're going to break down the weekly news, all the stuff I Googled for the week. Then we'll go to weekly purchases, probably do Turtle Watch, not a whole lot happened, and then we'll close everything out. So let's get right into it. So this one I know Rob's excited for. First up, we have Super 7. Out of nowhere, really, just announced a line of Disney action figures. The first wave is going to include Sorcerer Apprentice Mickey, who comes with 3 interchangeable heads, interchangeable hands, 2 water buckets, animated broom, an axe, the Sorcerer's Giant Spellbook, and a soft goods robe that comes with like an actual rope to tie around his waist. Pinocchio, who comes with same thing, 3 interchangeable heads. One of them is his just normal face, then you've got the growing nose from like the first time he lies, and then you eventually just get all the way to where he's like stealing money out of his mom's purse to get drugs, liar Pinocchio. He has interchangeable hands, Jiminy Cricket, his school book, an axe, because apparently all Disney characters need axes, an apple, Cleo's fishbowl, Figaro the cat, and a soft goods vest with a little bit of gold trim in it. And then this one's probably the best out of the 3. Last but not least, we have Prince John, who comes with 3 interchangeable heads, including one of them is like his crown comes down over his eyes. He has interchangeable hands, both with and without the rings. 2 versions of his assistant, Sir Hiss, a mirror, and a soft goods velvet regal robe with fur trim. All of the soft goods were actually done and created by someone I know. I've actually worked with this guy on multiple occasions with different like projects I've worked on, like custom wise, and also a couple of reviews I did back when I used to be on the Media Junkie channel. And that is C. Jessam. He does incredible work. He's been doing a lot more in the actual toy industry, so I'm happy to see him kind of getting with another amazing company. All 3 of these figures are available on Super 7's website and also BigBadToyStore.com. They're $44.99 each and are set to release in June of 2021. So I already know I pre-ordered Mickey and Prince John. I may have done that day one.
Yeah. Looking at it, the Prince John is definitely something that we're gonna have to order. Like I was just talking to you about, and my wife who is sitting nearby, they do so little with the animated version of Robin Hood. It's like one of the forgotten Disney movies, so it's very nice to see them doing something. And Prince John in that movie is very iconic, especially capturing certain things like you already said. The head has the crown falling down over his eyes. Having Sir Hiss with him is absolutely fantastic. The Pinocchio will probably have to be purchased as well, simply for Figaro.
That is so funny story. Jake, who you obviously know, but for the viewers, he's on Fanboy Fight Club with me over at Media Junkie. He's also my cousin. That is the first thing he said. 'Cause he's like, I have to have Prince John because he's like Robin Hood's his favorite Disney movie, and then he was like, I kind of wanted to get Pinocchio just for Figaro.
Mm-hmm. I'm not entirely convinced. $45 is a good enough price to just really getting Figaro out of it.
I mean,
but
for a tiny little figurine of a cat that isn't going to have any articulation, I don't know if 45 is justifiable on that one.
But I'm being real, and I'm sure it's probably going to be something that I'm going to be told that we need to buy. But all the figures in general do look very nice, and the fact that they do have, and I didn't know you've worked with the person who's making the cloth materials for them, but the fact that they all have all the points of articulation, the varying heads, and then you add on that little bit with the cloth
Mhm.
piece, it just I think that makes those figures, I think that makes those figures stand out a lot more than like
Like
a
little
anime
like
Figma
$10
or
like
something like that.
figure that you'd get at like Disney World or something. Like
Yeah.
it kind of just it takes it to that level where it's worth the $45. I will say if you do decide to break down with Pinocchio, you might as well get all three because I think they're bundled together for like 123.99, so you get a little bit of a break on them.
Okay. Well then, yes. Yeah. We'll probably just
And
end up
then
with all
you get
three
some
then.
Suzuki with it too. So I'm just like, I didn't go that route just because I'm like, I don't have a whole lot of attachment to Pinocchio. I mean, I remember most of it, but I probably only seen a handful of times. It just wasn't like my go to as a kid.
Yeah. Honestly, it's probably, I don't want to say it's one of my least favorite Disney movies, but it's definitely not in the top realm of them either. But Figaro is an iconic character for me, and I know for Veronica as well. So yeah.
That's
Maybe we'll end up doing the bundle then if they're offering at a
Yeah,
discounted price.
on Big Bad Toy Store, they have the bundle. I think, like I said, I think it's like 23.99, so you get a little bit of a break on the price.
Awesome.
Uh, but so let's move on. Next, Boss Fight Studios announced, and I'm super excited for this. However, we didn't really get a whole lot to go off of except for just it's gonna be a thing. They are going to do a line of Umbrella Academy action figures, and Wave One is the only one they've really announced. No pictures or anything like that. Just who's going to be in it. It's going to be Klaus, Vanya, Diego, and Cha Cha, and it's planned to hit Q2 of 2021. Um, I literally just the other day was at Target and they had those like chintzy little like figurines. They're like $13 for something that's like 2 inches tall. And I've been debating on getting them because I'm like, oh, I love this show so much, and I really want like a Pogo and a number five and maybe a Vanya. And I'm like, man, I start googling and no one really makes action figures for him. So this was great news for me. Like I'm all sorts of
Yeah,
that.
save you from those chintzy ones.
Yeah, I hate those like this. I've also almost considered like buying the Funko Pops, but I refuse to after the great Mr. Freeze debacle of 2020.
Yeah, yeah, we're pretty much done with Funko here in this household as well.
A lot of people are after the fumble this year, so.
Veronica's making an obscene gesture off camera.
And by that, I assume she's giving all of her pops the middle finger.
Yep, absolutely.
But yeah, so that's something to look forward to. I hope that maybe Toyfare will actually get like prototypes or something. I have to assume since Q2 is right around the corner from there. Uh, but Boss Fight didn't only announce that; they did announce a Zorro 4-inch figure with his trusty steed Tornado. No real details about price or arrival window or anything. At least not that I saw. I saw some people posting that pre-orders are going to be going up this weekend at some point, but I couldn't find anything solid. The only thing I could find is just a picture of him and the horse.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we record on Thursdays, so come Friday when this goes up, that could be a whole different story. It kind of is what it is.
That's a pretty nice looking figure too from the image that you shared with me. I gotta imagine probably going to be a little pricey with the addition of the horse in there. I'm not familiar with with Boss Fight, so I'm not sure what range they
Boss
typically
Fight are
run in.
kind of like they've got all sorts of different ranges. Like they have I want to say, oh, is it Lucha Underground figures? I think they do.
Okay.
And those are a little higher end, but they're still only like 30, $40, I think. And then they also have figures that are like 10, $20 that are like some articulation, nothing crazy. Um, so it's very much kind of just depends on which route they go. Something like this, with it being 4 inches instead of being a full like 112 scale, like 6-inch figure, I have to assume with the horse, you're probably looking at like 20, $30 just because of the property more than anything else.
Okay, so the figure is a little bit smaller than the standard one.
Yeah, because it's essentially like you've seen like the Star Wars 3 3/4 figures, right?
Yes.
it's going to be just a smidgen bigger than that.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not going to be like crazy big. The horse will probably be the size of like a normal action figure. You can have a pony for your normal action figures if you're not a Zorro fan, but you still want to buy it. Yeah, I never really. I mean, I think I've seen Zorro once or twice, but it never really had any like resonance with me. So
Well, Zorro, the show itself, I mean, is a very old show.
Mhm.
Like, obviously, I'm significantly older than you. I said significantly older, not old. But like, I mean, it was beyond my time as well, because I think it was late '60s.
Oh yeah,
Like,
it was
and I'm in the '80s. So that's like 20 years, and I know that they did. There were a couple movies like that they've tried doing to like kind of reboot the series. I think the most famous one being Mask of Zorro with Antonio Banderas. But even then, that was what, 25 years ago at this point.
Yeah, that was had to have been back in the '90s, right?
Yeah, I mean, so it Mask of Zorro, 1998.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like Zorro is basically just going to be one of those like this is there's going to be a hardcore fan base that will want it, but it probably won't appeal to most casual.
Yeah. Which is smart. I mean, that's a good way to kind of help those collectors who are like, oh man, I really wish that there was more.
They would
like,
do something
Zorro action figures instead. Like I think they did really crappy action figures in the '90s for the Antonio Banderas movie. But like it's nice to see companies out there that like do things for collectors who aren't just like in the mainstream of like Batmans and Turtles and Power Rangers. Like see someone do something a little different to kind of open up the world a little more and make it less like 300 lines of the same shit every day.
Yeah, and you figure if I think like you were saying for a second there, if they picked up the property for cheap, the licensing for cheap, you know, they'll take a calculated risk on making their money back on it.
Yeah.
But if they got it cheap enough, it might not even be a big thing for them.
Which some of the stuff like this, like for instance, those Super 7 figures, those are made to order. So essentially, they have a to and from date for pre-orders, and once those dates are over, that's all it's made. They don't make extras to like ship out to stores. As he goes to a toy store to
I was just getting it ready, so when we were done, like I was gonna have it up and.
But yeah, so like some companies just do made to order, where like they don't have to worry about the risk; everything's already paid for in advance. And I have a feeling that's probably what they're going to do because boss fight figures, I don't think I've ever seen them at like comic book shops. And I definitely don't see them at retailer. Usually it's like Big Bad Toy Store.
Sir, you did not mention to me that there's also some Haunted Mansion Super 7 figures up on this thing.
Because they actually haven't like really shown anything off, so they weren't on my radar. Sorry.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, you're right. There is no
If you
picture.
go to the thing, it's just a logo. And if you know
Yeah.
the price, I think it's significantly less. I think it's only $17.99. So I think it's the reaction figure line. So it's the little like tiny ones that just have like the bendy legs that go like up.
Oh,
Yeah, it's not
that's
gonna
kind of
be,
depressing
it's not
then.
gonna be like these awesome ones that we just talked about. So that's probably another reason why I didn't bother telling you.
That's fine then. You're forgiven.
Those are nothing against Super Sevens. Plenty of people out there, but I spend money on toys. They better fucking be able to do splits and shit.
It's all about the splits and shit.
Next up, and you dressed for the occasion for this one, pre-orders went up on a multitude of different places, and you can, and also a bunch of images of the SH figure. It's Dragon Ball Z Bardock figure. So we talked about this one a few episodes back when they showed a teaser image, and now they've got all the different kind of studio shots of it, and you can pre-order it. He does come with, let's see, 3 face plates, 2 left hands, 3 right hands, a scouter, optional bangs part, optional ear part, and a beam attack effect, which I think is just a little glowy orb. It's not really a beam.
Yeah, it's just an orb. It's not really a beam.
Yeah. I think the problem is because Figuarts is a Japanese company, so the translation isn't always great when you like find what all comes out with these things.
That's fair.
Yeah, like I said, pre-orders are available on Big Bad Toy Store among other places. It's $55.99 and it's slated for February 20th. So I recently got back on the Figuarts wagon, unfortunately. Pre-ordered all 3 of the Comic-Con figures that came out this year, along with rebought the blue Saiyan armor Vegeta, and pre-ordered Piccolo. So this is a maybe for me. Part of me wants it. Part of me is like, do I really need the side characters that like have had like 1 or 2 appearances? I think I can pass on that. But it's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, and I get what you're saying with that, because I mean that pretty much is the epitome there of Bardock. He is that kind of like side character. You know he's there.
Mm-hmm.
You know he's an integral part of everything, as a whole. But even then, the two movies that he was part of.
Yeah, it's 3.
Oh, it's 3 movies.
Don't
Which
forget
was
that weird one that they like was like a little mini movie they released where he goes Super Saiyan.
Oh yeah, okay. So I was counting that one, and then there's Bardock, Father of Goku, which was the other one then.
He was in the new Broly movie. He was in like the first like 15 minutes of it.
He was.
Yeah, the first 15 minutes is essentially just like on planet Vegeta before Frieza blows it up, and it like leads into him being like, "Where are my sons?" And like Raditz is fucking off with Nappa and Vegeta, and then Goku's like, "Get in the fucking pod, you little shit!" And shit's off, and then it kind of just goes into the opening sequence.
Well, you know, I at that point in time we were watching that, I had a bit of a crick in my neck.
Oh yeah, because we were in the front fucking row.
Because we waited too long to buy our tickets.
Yep. That was back before you could reserve specific seats, kids. Yeah, so overall, it's a really cool figure. I'm a strong maybe on that. We'll see once we get closer to February if I get that itch.
It's a very nice figure, but
it is. They did a fantastic job of capturing his likeness and everything. Like,
I would honestly say with and it'll be a hot minute before they come out, but with Super with them gearing up to start making episodes of like actual anime episodes of Super again, to catch up to where the manga is. I would say they're gonna be a bunch of better characters to maybe hold out for. I'm not sure.
There's that weird character that's whooping everyone's ass right now.
Where's the what?
There's that weird goat character that's just whooping everyone's ass right now.
Yeah.
I just keep seeing pictures of him and seeing him murdering everybody, and I'm like, oh fuck.
Yeah, and apparently in manga, during all this, they re-canonized, because GT has been removed from canon. They re-canonize Super Saiyan 4. Yeah, Super Saiyan 4 has come back.
Oh man, did you hear that thud? Because I just went from 6 to midnight.
But yeah, so I mean, given the fact that Figuarts probably hasn't done a ton with Super, and there is so much more of Super that hasn't even been able to be done, even if they have done a bunch with it. I would say this, would probably be a pass.
That's understandable, because yeah, they've done / are doing a lot with Super, but it's mostly like main characters. Like they're obviously re-releasing like Vegetas and Gokus, and I think they're doing an updated. They did an updated Gohan.
I think I had seen them. They had released a Goku Black at one point.
Yeah, they did Goku Black. They did Trunks from the Future.
Give me a Goku Black in Rose form.
I think that's it.
Yep. Yeah. Holy crap! He was.
It's a little pricey now because he's been out for a while.
Yeah. Well, he was a Comic-Con one for last year.
Well, that's the second release. They did 2.
Okay.
It's the Comic-Con one. That I think there was another one, or they're working on another one. One of the 2. But yeah, they did Goku Black. They did Trunks. They've done Beerus. I think they've done Whis. Their Jiren's coming out this month or next month, and then Super Angry Murder Jiren is coming out in October, November. So, which I forgot to tell you, I did finally finish the Tournament of Power after fucking 3 years.
Yeah.
So I may or may not have been the reason why I pre-ordered the Ultra Instinct Sign Goku for Comic-Con.
Okay. I need to go back through and watch it now that it's been dubbed. I'm sorry, I know that's a sin in the anime community is to watch it dubbed, but I did Huh?
That's why it took me so long, because I
I
can't
know.
watch subbed. I can't. I'm sorry. I'm a fucking filthy casual. I don't care, but I need them to speak my language because I can't read and watch at the same time. I was in a slow school. Okay.
You were, but it's okay. The thing that gets me with the subbed version of Dragon Ball is Goku. Like, I don't have a problem with the fact that he's actually voiced by a woman, but it's just the hi,
Yeah,
like,
his voice gets so high pitched, just like, especially after
yeah.
growing up with the dubbed version, and you've got the voice that you're used to, and then it goes to a super high pitched version. And you're like, oh man, I can't.
Mm-hmm. Now I did go all the way through in the subbed form because I didn't want to wait for the dubbed form, and I would gladly do it again. But now that it is available in the dubbed form, I do need to
I mean,
take the time to rewatch it.
I bought the Funimation subscription just so I could watch it dubbed, because it was airing on Toonami, and then like halfway through they took a break, and then I moved and I didn't have access to Toonami anymore. And I'm like, well, fuck me. And then yeah, so I bought the Funimation app just because it was on there. But anyway, so back on track. So Drew Dower, the man at the helm of the AEW wrestling figure line over at Jazzwares, announced they are working with Hasbro to bring back the Micro Machine figure, well, cars. They're going to have bundles, just like they used to, so that way collectors can purchase an assortment of vehicles in packs, or they also have blind packs and world building sets. So they're kind of adding some new aspects in there, but keeping a lot of the old. At launch, the plan is they will be having the single blind backpacks, which are $1.99, which for a blind bag, that's a steal. Like, people are gonna be, picking those up like it's cocaine, man. Like, it's gonna be crazy. Then you're gonna have the starter pack, which is $4.99. It will feature 3 vehicles that fall under different themes, such as muscle cars, farming, racing, construction, off-road, and other assortments. They will have the Micro Machines World Packs, which are $9.99, featuring 5 vehicles in a micro city scene that allows you to play or display your vehicles. They have a new core playset, which is $14.99, which will be featuring exclusive vehicles that will enable fans to build out and connect their world. And finally, they have a Super Van City playset, which includes a working bridge construction site, high-rise building, drag strip, tons of ramps, and the ability to connect to the other playsets as an added bonus. Uh, and with those, fans will receive these 3 exclusive vehicles, I believe it is. Super Van's City playset is actually going to be $49.99 though. Like, you jump from $15 to $50 so quick on that one.
Yeah, but if you remember when they had the core playsets back when, and it's amazing that they keep bringing out these like old toys like redone because they know that the only people they're selling the toys to now are the people they sold the toys to then, because kids nowadays don't play with toys, they play with Fortnite.
If you have like a toddler or something, like, there's a good chance you might be able to get them to play with the toys you used to play with.
That's true. But the Super Van City, I mean, like, so the core set was probably like, like yay big, maybe had like a road or a little building or whatever that came with the car. I mean, the Super Van City was freaking humongo. Like, it was a big play set. So I get why it would be more expensive.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense because like with everything it comes with, 100% makes sense. It'd be more expensive. I just was not expecting it to jump from $15 to 50 so quickly. I figured there'd be like either a moderate set in between that's like 25 or 30, or this would be maybe closer to like 30 or 40 range. But I mean, hey, nostalgia is gonna get them, and people will pay for it. And this doesn't have any pre-orders or any dates or anything. They just kind of announced it and showed off some pictures. I have to assume, especially if they're working with Hasbro on it, that that means that they probably had access to a lot of the old molds, so they don't have to worry about making new ones. Except for like for the, I think there was one pack in there. I think it was the $15 pack or something like that. That's that one they might have to do. Any new vehicles probably, but I don't know. It's a cool idea to bring it back. I know I've seen a lot of people on the interwebs excited for it.
It would just kind of depend on because Micro Machines were originally made by Galoob, which was taken over by Hasbro. So it would just kind of depend on what Hasbro kept post that merger.
I mean, knowing Hasbro and most toy companies that like absorb other ones, they usually keep their shit just in case. Because you never know that rainy day when sales are low and you're like, well, you know what? Let's fucking bring this back and just make a quick buck. But it's hit or miss because it could also be like, oh, warehouses like caught fire, something was damaged or something crazy that could have gotten rid of it. It really just depends. Like, if they do still have those molds, then it's going to make it significantly bigger profit margins for them. That's for sure. Especially for like the $50 Band City.
Yeah.
So moving on to the next story, this one I know you're going to get excited for as well, and you're probably going to make fun of me for butchering his last name. Storm Collectibles actually started off teasing the Tekken Jin Kazama again after a year since the last time they teased it. This time with a picture of some lightning effects that fans started speculating instantly that it was going to be Jin. However, as I was putting together the show notes today, they literally announced it and released a bunch of pictures of it. So I was like, well, so much for teasing it. They released several announcements. He's coming out, or not announcements, images. He's coming out in Q4 of 2020, or I'm sorry, 2020. He's gonna have 3 interchangeable heads, 4 interchangeable hands, 1 special lightning effect, which I assume is just the one that they obviously teased. But it looks really badass in the pictures with over his fist as he's throwing a punch. Right now, pre-orders aren't up, but I at this point I would not be surprised with how quickly they're moving if this didn't go up on like Big Bad Toy Store or something come time this goes up and gets uploaded to YouTube. So stay tuned for that. I'm sure that will probably be a thing tomorrow or Friday if you're watching this when it goes up. So you've already said that after the show you're pre-ordering the Disney figures. Is this making it onto that list too once it goes up?
No, it is really nice about prior to going on. I very a very big fan of the Storm Collectibles figures. They do a very good job with them. I have the Smoke that came out for the Mortal Kombat series. Very pleased with it. Fully intended to get a couple more, but you know, money.
They get real pricey real quick. 'Cause most of those Mortal Kombat figures with the Storm Collectibles are like $50 to $70 or more.
Yep, it was 55 before my discount because I bought it from my place of employment. So but yeah, it's a very nice figure. Very pleased with how Storm Collectibles treats their product. So this would be cool. I'm not a big enough Tekken fan to want to spend the 50. I'm assuming $50 on it.
Yeah,
So
I would probably assume at this point with how big Storm Collectibles has gotten over the past like year or so, 2 years at this point, I would expect it to be closer to like 70. Just because it seems like that's where a lot of their figures are going. I know a few weeks ago we talked about the Toro figure from Mortal Kombat. I think this big body, like horned, crazy looking Minotauro, I think maybe
Motaro.
Motaro, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like 105. So I feel like the more Steam these get, the more stuff they're gonna come with, and the more expensive they're gonna get. Which is both great and awful because your wallet's gonna hate it, but you're gonna be like, look at all these accessories. And here's another one that I know you've got a little bit of interest in. So there are new Power Rangers buildable Dino Megazord figures from Hasbro coming. The Tyrannosaurus Rex, Triceratops, Sabertooth, Tiger, the Mastodon, and Pterodactyl dinosaurs will be $15.99 and are hitting shelves soon. The Triceratops and Sabertooth Tiger, and then also the Mastodon Pterodactyl seem to be like they're going to be 2 packs because they're together at the same $15.99 price point, I assume, because it didn't have anything else listed. Which is kind of nice because they're not as big as the T-Rex because the T-Rex is the main body. My biggest concern is if you look at the figures in the package, they look really cheap. But when you see the picture of the Megazord, granted, it's a real fuzzy picture because that's how they get you. The Megazord looks badass, and I'm like, I kind of want it because I'm assuming at that point it's gonna be 6 inches, and then I can put it with my Godzillas. But at the same time, I'm like, my Godzillas are super nice. I don't want to put this like cheap plasticky looking. So I might have to wait and see someone like take some pictures of it like fully assembled out of box.
I mean, it kind of depends. I mean, at worst, you're out $50 for a Megazord. Whereas
At worst, you're out $50. Big dollar Rob over here, just like $50 ain't nothing for a Megazord.
Well, when you think about comparatively to like the old school snap together Power Ranger toys, I mean, you'll spend. Remember when we went to Steel City Con and I was looking at that Megazord, and it was an out of the box original Megazord, and it looked like it had been through hell and back as far as some kid playing around with it, and dude wanted $125 for it, whatever. And he was the cheapest one that they had there because at that point I was like, well, I'm gonna go look around, see if maybe someone's got it for a better price. So now, I mean, obviously that was a vintage toy,
Yeah,
even
which
though it had been to
eventually
hell.
Bandai and Hasbro re-released
They
the
did the
Megazords.
entire line.
Yeah, so you
Because
can
I
really
bought
buy
the
the
Dragon
shitty
Sword.
old one that's been beat to hell.
Yeah. But even then, the Dragon Zord, which was a single Zord, that cost me $75. The Megazord.
Here's my argument though. These, I'm pretty sure the Zord is going to be maybe 6 or 7 inches tall. He's not going to be very big.
True, and the
Looking at
ones
packages, it
there
looks
were
like it's like going to
the
be like
12-inch.
this big for the thing, and the way, like you said, yours was at least 12 inches, if not bigger. So that's a huge difference to spend $50 on a 6-inch Megazord that has very little detailing and paint apps,
True.
or 75 on a big ass Dragon Zord that has like decals and stickers and colors and metallic
You're not
paint.
wrong.
So like, I feel like that's not a very fair trade-off.
True, but I was saying, but the point of my comment was that if you ended up buying them because you did want something of that nature, at worst you're out $50 if you didn't like how they looked against your Godzilla figures.
Yes. Or to my if my Gundam figures, and those aren't like crazy detailed, but they still look pretty nice for a $25 figure. So like if these don't at least match up to like that quality, I'd be just $25 for a Gundam figure that still looks pretty legit, and $50 for a Megazord that looks like a children's toy. Like that's gonna be a deal breaker.
Well, I mean, it kind of is a children's toy, but
I mean, ultimately, 90% of this stuff is children's toy.
true, and we're just big children.
Are actually children.
Yes.
But yeah, so keep an eye out for those. They'll be hitting stores here soon. The last piece of news we have, this is gonna be a short week because we're post Comic Con, so like the floodgates are finally starting to piddle out. NECA has announced the new Christmas in July Gremlins 2-pack, which is apparently based off of the marketing and newspaper ads from 1984. Unfortunately, that was about 7 years before I was born, so I have no clue if this is a thing or not, and I didn't really have time or the interest to Google it to see them. But this will be out later this fall, and I have to assume it's going to be at the same price point as the other Gremlins 2 packs, which were usually like $40 or $50, depending on where you went. But it's kind of look. I mean, it looks cool. I'm not a huge Gremlins fan, but like you get like the soft goods Santa costume and sack and
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
I love Gremlins, and honestly, this is another piece in the file that you sent me that very much interested me. I don't really have any Gremlins merchandise as it is, so I'm
Apparently, you need to
necessarily
shop
want
at Target more.
to. No, I don't.
They have an entire section that just has like Gremlins and Godzilla and horror movie characters. Like,
don't tell me, don't be telling me about Gremlins and horror characters. That's
oh yeah,
bad.
they've got like Friday the 13th. They've got
Stop it.
Nightmare on Elm Street. They've got Halloween.
I'll
All
kick
sorts of
you.
different options.
Yeah, no, I don't need none of that.
You say until you go there and you see it, and you're like,
When that day comes, I will message you and tell you I'm sorry I done it.
yeah. So hearings, just keep messaging you pictures of my Neca section until you.
I'll kill you.
Yeah, so that's it for the news this week. It was pretty late, which is always nice. It means my voice probably won't be completely shot once we're done here. However, that means it's time for Turtle Watch 2020. Wow, you've got just as much energy as Jarmar does.
You don't have any cool, like, you need to have like some kind of cool theme music or
I do,
transition or
but it's
something.
in the edited version of the show that airs on YouTube versus us recording. So there's
That's
actually
fair.
a graphic that goes up, and it's got that do 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 do.
Nice.
So yeah, that's okay. Jamar's on the show, and he didn't fucking know that was a thing either. So my co-host that will fucking watch what we do.
Co-host doesn't watch / listen to what the finished product is. Hi, Kettle. Yeah. You get
Anyway, so this week, Slash and Leatherhead were our weekly disappointment from NECA. Some stores got them before the date that they were supposed to release on. Most stores still haven't gotten the first part of the wave or Metalhead. Pre-orders actually went up today for us Thursday. Surprisingly, because like people assumed they'd hit today because they always hit on the day that it's supposed to be released. But NECA really kind of radio silenced us until they went up, and then they went up, and I didn't realize it until Jarmar texted me, and then they were sold out. So he got one and I didn't. So I have to hope that the toy hunt gods continue to shine on me. Then today, if you're watching this Friday when it goes up, is the last day to pre-order Toka and Raza. So make sure you go to NECA's shop on their website and pre-order these, because if this goes well, which I'm assuming it is because it's fucking Ninja Turtles and it's NECA, it means more stuff will go up on their website instead of Target and Walmart's, and there's less chance of us all getting fucked by bots. The final piece for Total Watch.
Spoilers, you're still going to get effed by bots.
No, because NECA on their website have the ability that they can cancel any order that is linked to the same person. Whereas with Target and Walmart, actually discussed this last week because there was this whole like interview that Randy did. If they do that with Target and Walmart, it affects their retailer score, and then there's less chance that Target and Walmart will continue to order things or let them sell things on their website. So it's like a damned if they do, damned if they don't, because they either have to fuck over their loyal customers or they have to fuck themselves with the retailers that everyone hates. So it's kind of like a mess. But Randy did put out a tweet, and I have to assume this means that the Toka and Raza figure pre-order is going well. The tweet reads, start here, I should have more news for you come Friday and next week as we finalize some plans to help you order or pre-order what you want or missed out. Please be patient as we finalize this plan and slowly roll out more options and accessibility for you. Thanks for the support, turtle emoji. So what this tells me is more than likely it's probably going to be more of the movie turtle stuff, because Walmart seems to be a little more loosey-goosey with their contract than Target does with the cartoon turtles. So I'm feeling we'll see the Raph and Casey 2-pack, and then maybe the repacks of the turtles go up on NECA's website, probably for pre-order, and then we'll like make them to order like they did Toka and Rizar. I'd love for the cartoon ones to go up there, but my hopes are low. I know you don't have a vested interest in turtles. This segment was me and Jarmar bitching about our infortunes as we spent the summer hunting Ninja Turtles.
Now, I love the Ninja Turtles, but when I say I love the Ninja Turtles, let me preface that by saying that I love the cartoon from the 80s, 90s, whenever it was, and the first two live action movies. You can throw the third one in there if you really want to, but I choose not to.
It's like the fourth Indiana Jones. It doesn't exist.
Kind of, yeah.
It's just,
or at least we just don't discuss
a
it.
parallel timeline where like some shit got bad, and some idiots made movies that just don't exist in our timeline. They just occasionally just fall through the cracks.
It's an example of the Mandela effect.
Exactly.
Yeah. So no, I do, and the NECA movie Turtles, fantastic. The new I don't know if it's NECA. So I mean, like the Batman crossover.
Those ones are DC collectibles.
Those are DC collectible. Okay, but those were nice. Those are very cool. But like for me, I don't want to say Turtles died a long time ago, because they've tried doing a lot of things, and Turtle Power, just call it Turtle Power, is still at a high right now for people. People are loving, this is one of those franchises that is continuing to kind of like transcend time frames and continuing to reinvent itself and do the same thing without doing the same thing. And even like the most hated pieces of them, is such as some of the movies or some of the TV shows that have come out, like people still eat it up.
Oh yeah, even like that god awful Nightmare Fuel musical tour they did, that Coming Out of Our Shells tour, that was their Comic-Con exclusive this year, and people fucking lost their minds. Like, and I'm just like, I got it, and I was looking at it, and like, these things are terrifying. Like, how did children not cry during this? And there's people who are like, oh yeah, that was like my favorite VHS tape growing up, and I'm like, oh man, maybe I'm just a giant pussy. I don't know.
I mean, yes, but for maybe other reasons. I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah. So my guess is in the coming years we'll probably get that terrible third movie that doesn't exist, along with that terrible live action TV series that came out with the Lady Turtle, who they decided to give shell boobs because we had to know she was a Lady Turtle.
Yes. No, see, I figured it out. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 is the reason why Valve doesn't release any games that are the third of the series. That's why there's no Half-Life, Left 4 Dead 3, no Portal 3. It's because Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 scarred them for life.
But there's so many better movies where the trilogy, like the third movie, is like one of the best ones, or just in general, like good. Like look at Return of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi is a fantastic movie.
Technically, that was the sixth movie, sir.
Yeah, but for that trilogy, it was the third movie.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you look at the prequels, Revenge of the Sith was probably the highlight of that trilogy, which isn't saying much.
It definitely wasn't Attack of the Clones.
Oh god, that.
The only two good things about Attack of the Clones were Christopher Lee and Yoda whipping out his lightsaber.
Oh man, when you say it like that, I don't know which version of Star Wars you watched.
When in doubt, whip it out.
Apparently, you were watching the Sex Wars parody.
Star Horse, get it right.
Star Wars. Clever title for Attack of the Clones. We're going to move on to weekly purchases. Now, I talked to you ahead of time. Obviously, you're not regularly on the show, so there's no requirement for you to have some in this segment. Technically, Jarmar doesn't usually have things this segment all the time either, so it's very hit or miss.
So Jamar is a slacker. Okay, got it.
No, but like honestly, this show's made him collect more because I show him things and he's like, ooh, pre-order that and pre-order that and pre-order that. So he eventually will have something every week. He's only missed like maybe 1 or 2 weeks as far as
this show is very dangerous. I can see it.
Trust me, even for me it's dangerous, and I already collect a lot of shit. Before this, I had 1 Neca Godzilla, and now I have fucking 4.
Good grief!
Not to mention the whole SH Figure Arts DBZ line. That's neither here or there.
Yeah.
Speaking of Godzilla, so that is one of my weekly purchases. A few weeks ago, Jamar found this to me and shipped it to me. It's the Return of Godzilla figure. I had a chance to open it because it's been a busy week, but he's pretty. And this actually just came in today. This one you might be a little more interested in. I pre-ordered and I'm still on the fence on the San Diego Comic-Con WWE Elite the T.
Oh, you did the Mr. T?
I did. I pre-ordered the Mr. T just because I'll FOMO. I'm like, I'm gonna see someone get it and be like, I wish I would have got that. Or at least if I end up not liking it, I can use it as trade fodder. But I did. I got the Mr. T. But the best weekly purchase, in my opinion, this one I got lucky and found, and people, the whole 29 people who actually consistently watch this show, can attest. The 1989, my favorite version of Godzilla. I finally found him in the stores during one of my many weekly trips to Target to be disappointed by Turtles. And he is everything I hoped and dreamed for. So that made
Nice.
sense.
I don't think I've ever. I mean, I don't get into the Godzillas a whole lot, but the few that I've seen growing up, I don't recall them ever having the energy breath.
Right, the atomic breath, yeah.
Yeah.
Even the NECA ones, it's very few and far between. Some of like the 2016 Godzilla ones have it, but very few of the vintage ones do. I think only the only ones I can recall for sure are that one, and then I have the one from the poster, but his atomic breath is more like fire. I think there's 1 or 2 more that have the atomic breath, but for whatever reason, despite the fact that these things are like $30, they don't include it more regularly, which is very disappointing. But that is it for my weekly purchases. Before we wrap up, though, I do want to remind anyone watching we are still doing our giveaway. Once the YouTube channel hits 100 subscriptions, well, subs, subscribers, whatever you want to fucking call it, we will be giving away the Musical Mutagen Tour merch bundle box, which consists of an extra large t-shirt, the tote bag, souvenir ticket to the concert, a backstage pass, and 4 guitar picks. So don't miss out on this. This is finally your chance to be the turtle groupie that you've always wanted to be. The way this works is we will randomly pick a winner once we hit 100 subscribers. You must either retweet or share the Instagram post with the hashtag ModernToyFair100. And you also must obviously be subscribed to the Modern Toyfare YouTube channel. So make sure you do that. Once we hit 100 subscribers, choose someone at random, and that lucky person will get to be a turtle groupie for the rest of their life.
Mm-hmm.
But on that note, that is going to be it for this week's Modern Toy Fair news. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Modern Toy Fair. Rob, where can our lovely viewers find you?
You can find me on Instagram at reality_check_wrestling podcast. It's a really long and annoying name. But you can find me on there. That's where a lot of my communication goes, for both podcast and for my Twitch streaming. You can also find me on Twitch at Legionkage. It's LEGIONKAJE. If you find me mildly entertaining, I am trying to become what is known as an affiliate. It's the first level on there, and I am at 29 followers currently. which is, I believe, how many subscribers you have on the YouTube channel, right?
It is. That's kind of weird. Which I do want to say, we will put the link to your Twitch in the description below, as long as you send it to me.
I will.
So that way people don't even have to go search for you. They can just click a little button. It'll take you to your Twitch.
Well, thank you, and I do greatly appreciate that. I was telling you, we went on the air. I actually was streaming with today, and we streamed Wargroove, which is published by Chucklefish, the same company that published Stardew Valley, and one of their community managers actually liked my post on Instagram, using their official Instagram page, and actually joined me on stream and hung out with us for quite a while. So it was a good, entertaining time. I also stream Final Fantasy. I'm doing that regularly. So I've been doing a full Let's Play of the original Final Fantasy. You can also find that on YouTube if you search Legionkage on YouTube.
All right.
And then, of course, the Reality Check Wrestling Podcast, which is, you know, one of the major things. We've been on a hiatus for a couple weeks now, as my co-host has
I heard you have a lazy
taken care of.
too.
Oh, that's okay. He won't watch this, I'm sure.
Yeah, I assume he won't.
But he's been taking care of some stuff for your life, moving and all that kind of stuff. So we're actually going to be getting back on it here very soon, and he has lined up a special guest for our first episode back. An actual independent wrestler will be joining us, so good time there.
It's secretly just going to be his brother in the Speedo.
No, it will not, and we don't, because we don't use cameras, so it's fine.
That would be his big reveal to you, is like, surprise.
I hope not. But you can find that on most major podcast platforms, very similar to another wrestling podcast, the Gimmick Wrestling Podcast, which is our rival podcast.
Yes, so that brings us back to me.
Yes.
So fuck Jarmar. He decided he had better things to do this week, so I'm not going to plug any of his shit. But if you'd like to hear more of my lovely voice, you can go
And who wouldn't?
to, excuse you, Media Junkie on any major podcast app and search for Fanboy Fight Club, where we essentially have some fanboys. They argue about some shit. Someone gets beat bitch of the week. They get mad. It's a whole thing. You never know what's going to happen.
Someone, he means him.
Excuse you, I'm not the bitch of the week this week. And you can also find me on the Gimmick Minute Wrestling Podcast with Jason and Kevin. Almost forgot his name. Last episode, where we just shoot the shit about everything wrestling for the past week. If you would like to support the channel, you can click the link below for tpublic.com. It'll take you to my store. I have everything from t-shirts, mugs, phone cases, masks, so that way you don't die. All sorts of cool shit. Some things with our logo on it, some things are just cool designs I worked up in Photoshop. If you take a look, I'd appreciate it. Don't have to buy anything, but might see something catches your eye.
I should have wore that. I didn't think about it. I should have wore that. My bad.
Oh, that's right. I forgot you have the was it the
Immortal Club?
Yeah, the Hulkamania Club.
The Hogan one, yeah.
Hogan, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that one because that one got copyright strike within a week of you ordering it. Hogan was not happy about that one, apparently. But as always, please like and subscribe. If you enjoyed the video, hit the little bell. It'll give you notifications whenever our videos go up. Modern Toyfare News goes up every Friday, and Modern Toyfare Reviews goes up every Monday. This past Monday, I reviewed the NECA Toys Ultimate TMNT Metalhead figure. Awesome figure. You'll also notice if you go through the episodes, the background is slowly changing. I actually have a kind of thing set up where I'm commissioning someone to make something to make my review background significantly better. So stay tuned. But hopefully we'll see you next week. Same toy time, same Toyfare channel. Thank you for watching.